Cheers, my friends. Happy Easter, happy Passover, whatever you might be celebrating. That's when this episode will be posted. It is episode 10 of Quarantine Cards. I love how, every time I go into this corner, I just kind of plop down into it. It sinks. That's how you know it's a good couch, right? Did you guys ever remember Not Your Father's Root Beer? It was, had a hot minute or so for a while. That's what I was going for tonight. It's just root beer and whiskey is what I have in here because I couldn't find the Everclear. I forget where it was, but I went to a bar once and I said, "How can I make this?" Because at that point it wasn't very common. He said, "It's just Everclear and root beer. That's all you got to do." So you just give yourself a quick shot of Everclear mixed with root beer. But we got whiskey in here because I couldn't find the bottle of Everclear, which I know I have. So here we go. Cheers to you, to Quarantine Cards. At TC Popcorn on Twitter, at TC Popcorn on the YouTube, and on the Insta as well. Share, like, love, hate, whatever you want to do. It's fine by me. I got plenty of notes to get to, but you know the rule. Before we do, let's jump into Topps Opening Day 2020. Just quickly see what there is to see in here before we delve into the other goodness today, which I haven't chosen, and I'll tell you why in a minute. All right. Got an Anthony Rizzo right out of the box. What a trade that was, huh? Saw an article recently talking about some of the best trades in Cubs history. Anthony Rizzo was right at the top of that one, along with Ryan Sandberg, whose name is mentioned on the back here, because Rizzo became the 7th player to have at least half a dozen 25 home run seasons. Anthony Rizzo, the mighty left-handed swinger. Liam Hendricks of the Athletics. 25 saves, 1.80 ERA. Pretty incredible year as an all-star a season ago. Yuli Gurriel with those jerseys. I almost dropped that entire pack. He would have thanked me later for that one. Here's another Cubby, though. Apparently this is a Cubs pack. That's Kyle Schwarber, the Schwarbomb. He hit 250 last year, had a very good second half of the season. Fastest player in Cubs history to hit 100 home runs, 34 games fewer than Chris Bryant. Rizzo, Ron Santo, Sammy Sosa, Ernie Banks are the only sluggers in franchise lore to record multiple campaigns of 30 homers by the time they turn 26. I say it's a Cubs pack because here's Craig Kimbrell. Whatever Major League Baseball does, if the Cubs are going to be successful, they need a good Craig Kimbrell in the back end of the bullpen. I read an article recently talking about his funky delivery, of course. I remember going to a spring training game when he was on the Braves, and he came into the game in the 3rd inning. I remember stopping everything because it was the only guy I wanted to see just to watch him with that electric fastball. Here's Hanser Alberto from the Orioles. We've talked about him previously as well. Claimed off of waivers by the Yankees, Giants, and Orioles. And then opening day card of the Seattle Mariners. So I bring up the Cubs because recently I came across a guy whose goal it is to end up with 1 million Cubs cards. Not 1 million cards, 1 million Cubs cards. So he's literally got a website. People are just sending him things. You can try to trade with him if you want. I wonder if he would like either of these 3 cards. Not that that would do him any good. I think he's in the 400,000-ish range now. I do have about 1 million Manny Trios I could give you that combined are probably worth 10 cents. We'll see. How about this one? Tiger King. New episode out today, Easter. Hosted by Joel McHale. Basically a Where Are They Now, which is kind of cool. I do want to make sure to thank you all for watching these videos regularly. We'll continue to do them. As I said, it's entertainment as much for me as it is hopefully for you. Hopefully you guys are getting something out of these. If not, whatever. I'm wearing a Cubs sweatshirt today as well. And the Tampa Bay Rays hat. I actually got this on Groupon, I think. Major League Baseball store had a Groupon at one point. And I got like 5 of these. These were spring training hats from like 2013, something like that. So I was going to wear a different hat. I know a lot of you wanted to see me in a Brewers cap again, but not so much. So like I said, thanks for watching. Speaking as I take my hat off, how's your hair doing? I don't think I'm having a good hair day, obviously, but you can see I'm kind of overhanging here now. I'm not the mayor of Chicago, so I'm not going to be going to get my hair cut. You're going to have to see and kind of watch it progress and grow through quarantine. I've talked a lot about using a green screen for my Zoom meetings. I was asked today to create a green screen for myself. By that I mean create a graphic to go behind. So if anybody has any advice on how to do that, I would appreciate hearing from you on creating your own green screen. I'm guessing it's just like something you can do in Photoshop, right? But it's a matter of getting the proper dimensions to make sure it shows up correctly. We were talking about Major League Baseball and spring training. Have you heard about their most recent plan? We were talking a little bit, I think, about Arizona last time. Now the word came out today that they're talking about actually doing cactus and grapefruit leagues, which would be kind of cool. Doing a DH across the board. You could have the Cubs and the White Sox in the same league, Arizona and Florida. We'll see what actually transpires, and I'm still not necessarily believing it until I see it. But apparently they're working with the health officials to try to make sure that something good happens. So we'll see. In the last episode, I broke out a cassette that I found while cleaning of Soul Asylum. Well, today I found another cassette. You might not notice that one because you don't know the artist is on the front, but it's one of my favorite artists. It's Vitalogy from Pearl Jam. Let's find out approximately where this would be in the cassette right now. It looks like it's right in the middle of side 1, so probably, around the Not For You Tremor Christ point, which Tremor Christ is a sneaky good song by Pearl Jam. Or on the back side, it would be I Davanita or Immortality, depending. The best part of it was, when you have these and they ended early prematurely on one side because it wasn't filled all the way the other, you'd have to hit that fast forward button forever. Don't know why I still have these, but as long as I keep digging through them and finding them, I'm going to keep popping them out and showing them to you guys. So, last night was watching Goonies. The Goonies. Have you seen The Goonies? I hope so. And it got me wondering, what are some of your favorite movies from when you were growing up? Or specifically, in this case, I guess with The Goonies, favorite movies from the 80s. Goonies is up there, but I think in terms of comedy, you have to look at Chevy Chase, who was in his prime at that point. Christmas Vacation is a must watch every year for me around Christmas. And in the case of Chevy Chase, Fletch is like one of the all-time great 80s movies. What are some of your favorites? At TC Popcorn on Twitter, holler at me, let me know. How about, I saw this the other day. Best game or favorite game that you would have wanted to have been at that you never attended. If you could go anywhere in time to any single sporting game to watch or to be part of, what would it be and why? I got to ask that question rhetorically because I haven't had a chance to think about it myself. I can tell you that one of the coolest stories that I have is when I was young. So it was in 1990, so I guess it would have made me 9 years old. One of the first games that I went to was the White Sox and the Yankees at Old Comiskey Park. And Andy Hawkins of the Yankees threw a no-hitter. It was a sunny day, but he threw a no-hitter and lost because the Yankees dropped 4 fly balls in the outfield because of the sun, and the White Sox won the game. It was one of the craziest things I've ever been a part of. So maybe if you want to think of games that you've been to or crazy things that have happened that you've seen like that. I remember going to Cooperstown and seeing that ball and taking pictures with it and being like, I was there, haha. Also, Andy Hawkins, shout out to you. I don't know that name's ever going to get mentioned again, but he matched up against Greg Hibbard on that day specifically. I dropped a Greg Hibbard reference in my Friday radio broadcast this week. Friday mornings at about 8:45 Central Time. I'm on WRMN, which used to be the radio home of the Schaumburg Boomers. And we were just talking about some of the greats and favorite players we liked watching from the Cubs and the White Sox, and I just threw out the name Greg Hibbard because they were talking about Ron Kittle, and Hibbard happened to be his pitching coach in Schaumburg back in the day. What about stadium? Any stadium now or past that you would have liked to have been to at some point? I mentioned Old Comiskey, obviously. For me, it'd probably be like Ebbets Field. Would have been cool to see a game out there. All right, so let's get into the rest of the cards. So I got a question the other day from my friend saying, how many packs do you have? Well, this is my green bag. I'm just going to show this to you right now. Okay, the green bag. It keeps me busy during baseball season. I have to have 96 in here to be able to go through an entire season. And there's a whole other box full of packs over there because I like just opening one a day. I'm not a bulk opener who buys a box and sprints through all 50-some packs. I like to go through it slowly build my set and build some drama and anticipation. And, oh, is this the pack there's going to be an autograph in? That kind of thing. So I just want you to see inside this quickly. Cameraman Calderwood. And usually what I do during baseball season is I just go through and I pick one out. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to pick one out. My only rule today is that if I find a pack with gum, I'm not opening and eating the gum yet, okay? And there's a couple of packs that I want to keep in here for future playback during baseball season. So we're going to go through these on occasion. 1990 Fleer. I think we actually did that one. We're going to throw that one back in the case. Mix it up here. Mix it up. What's crazy is you got the wax versus the not wax. I mean, the plastic, I guess, right? So I just pulled these two. 1990 Fleer again. And 2009 Top Series 1. This is one of the ones I actually wanted to save for baseball season, so I'm going to throw that back in there too. This is why in a lot of cases I don't just go through, I kind of cheat. So I'm going to cheat right now and just jump in here and see what pops out at me. Like this. Here we go. This is Donruss in the bright orange wax pack. It looks like 1990. So right year. And let's crank it open. Oh, it's even got the cards kind of stuck to the wax a little bit. That's how old it is on the back here. So it says there are puzzles and cards here. A Carl Yastrzemski puzzle piece. So here is 3 pieces of the hands of Carl Yastrzemski. And I says to him, I says, yes. That was my best Hawk Harrelson impression. I'm not usually going to do that. I'll usually have a pack pulled out ahead of time. In a lot of cases, like I said, I'm going to be going through some of the more current stuff anyway, but I just wanted to kind of show you how I did that during baseball season. So we got 1990 Donruss, this red look. The back of the card is, I guess, orangish yellow. This is a beer maker, Tony Fossis, who had a 3.54 ERA for the Brewers in '89, and he was 2-2 over 61 innings. He was signed by the Brewers after being declared a 6-year minor league free agent. Tony Fossis. Bob Melvin, catcher for the Orioles. I think he's an executive now in Major League Baseball. Hit 241 in '89 for the Orioles with a homer and 32 driven in. Took over as the number 2 catcher in '89 after coming from the Giants. Played in 85 games for the Orioles. Hit 429 in the 1987 National League Championship Series. Signed originally by the Tigers out of the University of California. Bob Melvin. Here's a Tigre, speaking of Tiger King. Dave Bergman. I don't think he was a Tiger King. Hit 268 for the Tigers, 7 homers, 37 driven in. Eligible for free agency after 1989. Traded from the Phillies to the Tigers. Nobody of note in that trade, unless you know who Guillermo Hernandez is. But he hit 294 in 1988, which was apparently second on the team. And he had what Tiger manager Sparky Anderson called the greatest at-bat in baseball history in 1984 against the Blue Jays when he hit a 3-run homer in the 10th inning after 13 pitches. So that's pretty good at bat. I don't know about greatest in baseball history. Here's an old school Dodger, Mickey Hatcher. Real name Michael on the back of the card. Hit 295 in 94 games for the Dodgers in '89. Signed as a free agent after he was released by the Twins. Hit 368 in the 1988 World Series against the A's with 2 homers and 5 driven in. That was, of course, the Kirk Gibson World Series. The Bronx Bombers, Lance McCullers with the Yankees. 4.57 ERA in 1989. He was 4-3 with 82 strikeouts and 85 innings. That's actually a lot for a reliever in the 1980s/90s. He was traded from the Padres to the Yankees in exchange for Jack Clark, Frontier League story. Jack Clark was a manager in the Frontier League. Bet you didn't know that. This card I'm pretty sure I have about 100 of. Deion James with the Indians. If you're in the Cleveland area, maybe you know him. Combined between the Braves and the Indians, hit 287 in 1989. Traded from the Braves to the Indians for Oddibe McDowell. Brewers top rookie at 84. Finished second on the club in hitting. See, the thing is, if you don't get a cool card, there's not a lot of stories behind these guys. You just got to rely on what's on the back. This is a Jim Corsi. You can see on the back, perhaps, here that they do have a whole career highlights section, though. And I was reading an article today that actually says you could tell what kind of player they were based off of what they have in terms of the career highlights. 1.88 ERA for Jim Corsi in 22 games for the A's in 1989. Moved into the bullpen in '89 after appearing in 50 games at Tacoma. Signed originally by the Yankees out of St. Leo down in Florida. Solid program down there. Gary Thurman with the Royals. Hit 195. First round pick in the 1983 draft. Number 4 outfielder in 1989. He was an American Association All-Star at Omaha in 1987. The ageless wonder Charlie Huff, knuckleballer. I don't think there are any knuckleballers anymore. Tim Wakefield, I think, was the last one. He pitched until he was about 50 years old, Charlie Huff. In 89, he was 10-13 with the Rangers with a 4.35 ERA. Sold by the Dodgers to the Rangers in 1980. He is the Rangers' all-time leader in wins, strikeouts, games, and innings. Had 13 strikeouts in one game against the Royals. Recovered to be named an All-Star after breaking a pinky in 1986 when he was 18-13. So it seemed like he was always getting a decision, right? Trying to think of, maybe Nolan Ryan. I don't know. I can't remember offhand how long Nolan Ryan was with the Rangers, but I would think that wins, strikeouts, games, and innings would be something that he'd be close to having obtained as well. Rated rookie Mark Gardner from the Expos. 7 games in 89. 0-3, 5.13 ERA. Top pitcher in the American Association. Led the circuit in strikeouts with 175. Finished second in ERA. In Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Indians, not to be confused with the Cleveland Indians. Indianapolis is now a Pirates affiliate. That's a beautiful ballpark right in the heart of downtown Indy. Here is a Jack Doherty card with the Rangers. Hit 302 in 52 games in 89. Traded from the Expos to the Rangers in 88. Hit 389 as a pinch hitter for the Rangers in 1989, which was first in the American League after he was called up from Oklahoma City. He was hitting 249 in Oklahoma City and got called up to the Rangers. Okay, good for you. All-Stars in a lot of minor league stops. Here's a great name, Otis Nixon. The Expos. By the way, I love those jerseys, that powder blue. Some talk about Montreal being in the discussion of an expansion team. Signed by the Expos as a free agent after he was released by the Indians. Boy, that was a brilliant move. I guess in 87 he hit 059 for the Indians. But he had 23 steals the year before. His 2 years with the Expos, he had almost 100 steals, 46 in 88 and 37 in 89. Platooned in center field and still ranked 7th in the National League in stolen bases. His brother is the Giants outfielder, Donnell Nixon, if that name rings a bell. It'd be funny if I got both Nixons in a pack of 1990 Donruss, wouldn't it? Ron Hassey with the Athletics. Backup catcher, yes? Yeah, he's a catcher. Hit 228, 97 games, 5 homers, 23 driven in. Signed by the A's as a free agent after he was released by the White Sox. Comeback season in 88, 107 games after spending most of 87 on the DL. Still only hit 7 homers in 88 with a 257 average for the A's. And, of course, that was a World Series year, as we've already discussed. Pat Tabler with the Royals. I think I've had a few of his cards previously. 259 and 89. Traded from the Indians to the Royals for Bud Black. Bud Black probably got the better end of that deal. Steve Olin, young card with the Indians. I believe that a couple of years later, he would lose his life down in Florida in a boating accident during spring training. He was 1-4 over 25 games for the Indians in 1989. Called up in August from Colorado Springs. Signed by the Indians out of Portland State University in Oregon. One card left. It's Cal Daniels of the Dodgers. He led the National League in on-base percentage in 1988, which is crazy to see that they actually had that around at that point. Hit 246 in 89 combined between the Reds and the Dodgers. 26 homers in 87, 18 homers in 88. He missed a month of 87 due to knee surgery. And was traded from the Reds to the Dodgers with Lenny Harris for Tim Leary and Mariano Duncan. Now, I want to show you, this is the last card in the pack. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there is that little bit of the wax kind of permanently stuck on the back of the card of Cal Daniels. So for that, I will always know that your card was the last one in this pack of Donruss 1990. So we'll go back into some new cards for our next go-round. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Quarantine Cards, round 10. Until next time, my friend, wash your damn hands. Let me try that again. Until next time, my friends, wash your damn hands. Cheers.